Satnam Aloha. So we're witnessing our world changing at a rapid pace. And this is because we're closing up a 400-year global cycle that began in 1781 with the discovery of Uranus, and also when Pluto was in the 41st gate, which is the start codon. So I remember way back when human design and gene keys crossed my path in 2005, along with Kundalini Yoga teacher training. And what piqued my interest at that time was the solar plexus mutation set for 2027, and that we would start to see this out in the world and what we would see. And to be honest, at that time, I thought it was a little dystopian, right? Sci-fi dystopian woo-woo. Because Ra, the founder of human design, was describing a radically different world than the one that I lived in at that time. However, I continued studying human design and using my strategy and authority and reaping the benefits from that. But I put the 2027 material on the back burner. And now I can see clearly, especially after 2020, that everything Ra was predicting is now coming to fruition. It's very clear to me now. So this solar plexus mutation in 2027, it's bringing a whole new species that will be very different than we humans. And the evolutionary energy will be withdrawing its support from us, the old human template, and transferring it over to this new species that's coming, called the Raves. So we can see that the cross of planning, this is the last 400-year cycle, is breaking down. These institutions that provided us with support, like hospitals and doctors and nurses and medicine and end-of-life care and hospice and health insurance, all that kind of stuff, well, these pillars are in decay. Governments are no longer taking care of their citizenry, right? Borders are breaking down. Infrastructure is in shambles. Social security, retirement funds, employment insurance, all of these kinds of supports from the cross of planning are just going away. Our educational system is breaking down, right? People are leaving higher education without any real skills and unable to make any real contributions. The judicial system is falling apart. People can now see that there's one law for one and then another law for someone else. It's not fair. Our food system's corrupt. We can't trust that our food and water is healthy. The financial system is rigged and corrupt. The institution of marriage is falling apart. There's more and more divorces. The media, businesses, corporations, even religion has lost all of its credibility. So this is the old tribal consciousness that was rooted in the bargain. I do this for you, you do that for me. It's going away. We'll no longer be energetically motivated to uphold these systems that we've taken for granted. So many people that are waking up now, they've lost their trust in these institutions. They started to question them. And have they always been this way and we just haven't noticed? No. This is the breakdown of the 400-year cycle. This is the great 2027 mutation at work. It's the divine plan that these institutions dissolve. So the mutation's not happening to us, it's happening through us. So let's get back to Pluto. Remember Pluto, 400 years ago, went into the 41st gate? So just use an example, right, of how this mutation is rippling through humanity. Well, in 1797, Pluto activated the 55th gate, and that comes off the solar plexus, which is a major player for the mutation, is this 55th gate. So you want to check to see if you've got that in your chart. The 55 turns off the solar plexus motor. The solar plexus is a motor. And then it turns on the solar plexus awareness system. This is what's coming online for 2027. So this happened in 1797 with Pluto. And then Neptune moved into the 55th gate in 2012 at the same time as the winter solstice. Remember that? December 21st? To start this next activation of dissolving the 55th gate. Because these are slow-moving planets, it takes several years to see the effects. So the mutation comes through the population that are born during that time. So, for example, one person that carried Pluto in the 55 in her chart was Mary Shelley. Was the author of Frankenstein. So in my opinion, Frankenstein was really the birth of science fiction because it carries the themes, the science fiction themes that we've explored since, right? A cautionary tale of playing God, the chaos that can occur with that, the blurring of creator and creation, and then the fear of the unknown. So the cross of planning, had the masses seeking God outside of ourselves and not following their dark impulses for fear of God's wrath, right? So this is what kept kind of people in check, right? Fearing God's wrath. It's very unconscious. This is all going away. Now, Neptune in 2012 started to dissolve what Pluto seeded in 1797. So let's just bring it back to Frankenstein and Mary Shelley. Well, we're going to see more of these themes coming up, but they're going to not be contained and limited by this fear of God, right? So especially AI. When people are born, the people that were born in 2012 with that transit, with the Neptune on the 55, when they reach adulthood, that's shortly after 2027, we're going to see these themes start to really play out like really, really quickly. So there's an example of just one aspect of this whole solar plexus mutation. So you're probably asking the question, okay, well, what can I do to prepare, right? What can I do to prepare for 2027? Well, first you need to be empowered by the knowledge of what is coming. And my gift is to recognize the patterns out in the world. To look at life through this lens, it's going to give you understanding, and it's going to give you compassion for yourself and compassion for others to know that we're all going through this mutation in our lives, especially the ones on the front line. So number 2, you need to use your strategy and authority to navigate through these times. So you want to get your chart and start using it. Start using it every single day. Because there's not going to be a trusted outside authority, not in positions of power. And this means that you can only truly rely on your inner self through these times, right? So it's going to be like really turbulent seas that we have to be sailing through. And the only way you can sail through safely is using your strategy and authority. And then number 3, most importantly, you need to have a deep scrubbing of your solar plexus. And you need to purify, and you need to learn from your solar plexus. This is the new awareness system. This is the felt perception. It's spirit awareness. So this doesn't matter if your solar plexus is defined or not. So the solar plexus, in a nutshell, is a vortex or a portal into your divinity, or frequency. We can call it frequency. And this is the pathway of awareness. We're moving from the physical, the mental, the emotional into frequency. So the Maya is breaking down, basically, and a new Maya, a new program is being built, and it's being built to support this new species. So I talk about this new species in my retreats and programs. And remember that we're not going back to the way that it was. We have to start embracing this new way. So in my programs, retreats, I help you with this process. So each person on the planet has been seeded with an ancestral wound in the deepest part of their physical form. The smallest you can go is your DNA. So this wound is going to start to get more activated through the solar flares and through the mutative energy moving through your DNA. And it will release. And unless you integrate this wound, you project it out into the external world. That's just how it works. So this can manifest in your life as drama, health problems, financial problems, relationship problems, conflict, victimization, exploitation, manipulation, betrayal, envy, anger, all those sorts of greeblies. That's how it gets played out. So this wound is really an alarm clock, and it's waking you up to move out of the dream, out of the Maya, and then move into your power. And you can't avoid it, the alarm clock, but it depends on what your choice is. Am I gonna wake up to the alarm clock, or am I gonna go kicking and screaming? So the problem is that we have internal unconscious programs that are in direct opposition to this release. So internal unconscious programs within us that are in direct opposition to the release of this wound. So the good news is that you can find the wound and the medicine all according to your chart. So I'll give you a formula according to your human design chart to show you your wound, right? Your unique way that you shut down with your mental body and your emotional body, and the medicine to heal it and transmute it into your genius. And you can also have your loved ones' charts, so you get to see their patterns, right? So let's say this quickly here, right? One of your problem patterns may be to run away when your wound comes up, right? And maybe your partner's pattern, when the wound comes up, it's not going to give you a straight answer. It's going to lie straight to your face, right? So these are examples of how these patterns can work. So this way you have compassion and understanding for them, and then you can work together to transmute your wounds and then be a powerful force of authenticity on the planet. So this way you can be a bridge person for the solar plexus mutation between the old human template, right? The cross of planning, human, the old human, and then this new species. You can actually be a bridge person. And then you'll be much more in tune with this new way of being, right? So you're not just surviving during this time, just keeping the body alive. No, you're actually being successful and thriving and actually making an important contribution to the evolutionary process, right? And also manipulation by the negative forces of the Maya, right? Maya is always trying to pull you in. The Maya means that which is not. The matrix, right? The manipulation takes place through the subconscious mind in the solar plexus. This is why so many people are asleep. But the more you step into your authenticity, the less you are prone to this kind of deception. Right? So for example, if you've integrated your ancestors' shame that got handed down to you, shame, well, you're not going to be able to be shamed, right? You won't be shamed. This is how tribal consciousness works. We'll shame you into certain behavior to control you, right? Shame you into certain belief systems, so you're thinking like everybody else. And this is all happening by outside authority, these negative forces of Maya. Right? It's not going to work on you. You're not going to fall for the deception, right? Neptune is in the 29th degree for a bit longer, like another year or so, right? So it's really a time to empower yourself now and to discover what is really inside you, the power that's inside you, maybe for the first time in any of your lifetimes. So also I use the technology of Kundalini Yoga meditation, which is aligned with human design and gene keys and astrology. And this technology reconditions you, right? Deconditions you, reconditions you into your authentic self, but deconditions you at the cellular level, right? And it also has teachings on the new self-sensory system that's coming for humanity, which is another way to describe the solar plexus mutation. And it's said that 1/3 of the population, human design says this, the ancient scriptures say this, that there's 1/3 of the population will be left on the planet during this time. So if you're watching this, you're part of the light brigade, right? So come and be part of this transformational experience. Receive real practical tools that you can use out in the world and heal, come into your power, and you can have permanent access to the material following the retreat. Okay, I hope to see you there. Sat Nam Aloha.